Hey guys, in today's video, I'm going to be going over my October budget. I honestly really can't believe I'm already saying October and we're in the last 3 months of the year. It's just really flying by so fast. But I'm honestly looking forward to this time of year and the fall weather, especially where I live. The weather is extremely hot, and in October is whenever it starts to cool down a little bit and we're able to get outside a little bit more. Creating and going over my budgets each month is one of my favorite things to do, as it gives me a plan to where my money's going to go and gives me peace of mind. I've been a digital budgeter for almost 2 years now and use this Google Sheet for about a year now. I had multiple requests on where to get my spreadsheet, so I have recently put it in my Etsy shop. I'll put the link down below if you're interested. So the first thing I do whenever I go over my budget is start in the left with my income. So let me zoom in. So for our income this month, we are budgeting $5,846. This is our net income after taxes, retirement, HSA, health insurance, life insurance, and everything else have come out. Also, daycare expenses come out of this as well because it comes out of my paycheck. So I don't expect to have any other income this month. If I do get extra income from side hustles, I'll put that in there. But for now, I'm just budgeting off the $5,846. Scrolling down to my expenses this month, the first category is my fixed expenses. These are just my main bills that come out every month. They don't really change too much from month to month. The first one's my mortgage. It's $2,600. It's actually 25 and some change, but I go ahead and round up so I could put a little bit more toward principal. It's not much, but any bit helps. Next is my van payment. This is $465 a month is what we're budgeting. This is one I really want to tackle very soon, because that's one less payment that I would have to budget for if I get this paid off. Next is water. I'm budgeting $77. I recently got the bill for this for the month of October, and it went down from last month, so that's great. So again, 77 there. Apple budgeting 10 for my storage, and internet is the standard 65.55. Electric, it went down a little bit. Our electric bill has been high ever since we built the house for our animals. We have 4 dogs. 3 of them stay outside full time, and we built them a house out there. And so it is heated and cooled, but that's kind of raising our electric bill up. So I'm budgeting $258 this month. This is another one I get the bill for at the end of every month, right around the 20th. So I know what it's going to be for the next month. Next is my cell phone bill. It's $98. Next is 43B. That's $94. Life insurance is $30. It's actually $29 and some change, but for this budget, I round up a little bit. Trash is a standard $27. Ritual subscription. This is my multivitamin with a company called Ritual. I just do the monthly subscription, and they send me a 30-day supply each month, and that's $39. Next is Chewy's. I went ahead and added this to my fixed expenses since I decided to keep Chewy's, and we're going to continue doing our dog food through it. So this is $63 that I'm going to budget for. So that is our fixed expenses. Next is our variable expenses. These are the ones that I track in my weekly check-ins to make sure that we're not going over, because these are the ones that do change from not only month to month, but from week to week even. So these are the ones I track on a regular basis because these are the ones I have a tendency to go over in. The first one is food. I'm budgeting $1,000. We are currently doing 4 meals a week with HelloFresh, and that is going really well. So we're going to continue doing that. I do have some time off in October, so I may take a week off from HelloFresh and just do grocery store shopping and make meals from that. But I haven't decided yet. But I'm still going to keep the $1,000. Next is gas and car. I'm budgeting $225. I raised it up $25 just to make sure I have enough for my van, but I'm not sure if I'll need it all, just because, again, I do have some days off that I'm not going to work. Next is household. I'm budgeting $50 just for any household expenses that come up, like toilet paper, cleaning supplies, or anything that can be considered useful for the house. Next is miscellaneous. I'm budgeting $100. I like to keep it at $100 because things do come up that I don't budget for. I actually upped the budget here, even though I budgeted some money for their dog food. I do want to take them to the vet and get their shots. I think it's going to be more than $100 for all 4 of the dog shots, but I think I'm going to have to pull out of a sinking fund for this to get their annuals done. We're going to a different place, and I do know it costs a little less to get their annual shots. But again, I don't think this will be enough, but we'll see. I'm actually going to take 2 of our dogs in first, see how much it costs, and then wait and do the other 2, the boys, later. So more on that as we get into the month. Next is kids. I'm budgeting $150 for the kids for diapers, clothes, anything that comes up for the kids. Next is beauty. I'm budgeting $55. I'm just budgeting enough this month just to get my nails done if I have time to get my nails done. So I'm just going to keep that in there. This is one thing that I've been doing for myself the last couple months, and I want to keep it in there. Next is medical. I'm budgeting $60 just for anything that comes up, any copays, whatever it may be. I think I'm going to start using my HSA card more just because I have a lot of money saved in there now that I'm not using. And with inflation and our tight budget and new daycare expenses, we don't have a lot of money coming out of our regular everyday spending money. So I want to utilize the money that we have in our HSA for any expenses that do come up with medical. Next is fun. I'm budgeting $25 for fun this month. Next is gifts. I do have one birthday this month, but things do come up, and I do plan on getting a couple other things as little gifts for my class. So I want to budget enough there. So I'm budgeting $80. And then last but not least is personal spending. This I added in the budget 2 months ago, I believe, and it's definitely going to stay in the budget. And that's going to be $75. And then next is our savings. I'm budgeting $100 to go to our sinking funds. If I have any additional money coming in, which we usually do each month, I'm going to put more money into my sinking funds. Next is debt. So it's a really long story about my student loans, but essentially I paid them off during the payment pause. It was actually about a year ago, whenever they said the student loans would be forgiven. I decided to go ahead and pull that money back out, and I set it aside and saved it in a separate savings account and have not touched it. And it's still sitting in the savings account. And I was going to use it in October to pay off my student loans, but then I realized that I qualify for the public service loan forgiveness program. So I talked to my loan provider, and they told me that it may save me a couple grand. And I looked into it, and yeah, it may save me a couple grand, which I don't owe that much. I only owe $8,000, but saving a couple grand is still a couple grand. And I decided that I'm just going to hold off and decide what to do with that money a little bit later. But for right now, I'm just going to make my first payments. It's crazy to make these payments again, especially since I've had them paid off, and then now I'm paying them again. It's just kind of crazy. But here we are. And I'm definitely not looking for a handout, obviously, because I have the money saved and I could pay them off. But I'm just trying to be smart about where to put that money and where it can be best utilized. So more on that in the future. But anyway, so yeah, I am putting this toward my debt. I could put this in my fix section, but I'm going to leave it here just because I have it all separate, and I have a separate savings account for it. So it's technically not coming out of my regular budget. It's going to come out of what I have saved for it, if that makes sense at all. And it is sitting in a high yield savings account earning interest. So the interest I have to pay on it versus the interest I'm gaining on it should even out in some way, shape, and form, just because it's about the same amount of interest. So scrolling down, you'll see my fixed expenses. I'm budgeting $3,826.55. My variable expenses, I'm budgeting $1,920. My savings, I'm budgeting $100, and then my debt is $101. So as you can see, my total expenses is over $101 over what I budgeted for, and technically 55 cents, but it's mainly because of that debt payment. So it's just kind of a different situation since I do have that money saved for the debt and I'm just transferring it. So what I may do on my budget sheet is put it $101 of my income from my sinking fund to show that I'm paying this debt payment, if that makes sense. And then down here at the bottom of my budget, I have my sinking fund allocations. I don't have my starting balance here because I haven't looked at my bank account yet. But out of the $100 that I'm saving in my sinking funds, I'm allocating $40 to Christmas, $20 to kids, $20 to car maintenance, and $20 to my emergency fund. So scrolling back up, to my dashboard. Looking at my graphs, 64% of my income is being allocated to my fixed expenses, 32 to my variable, 1.7 to my debt, and a very tiny number to my savings. And then looking at my budgeted breakdown, you could tell most of our expenses is going to my mortgage payment. We recently bought our house this year, so our payments and our interest rate is just kind of crazy ridiculous, but we do plan on refinancing. We've done so many house remodels in this year to definitely up the value of our house. In fact, our value of our house has already increased so much, even without the updates that we've done. But whenever the interest rates start going down a little bit, we plan on refinancing. But things are just going to be tight until that happens. And then for my monthly goals, they're just pretty standard and basic. Really, the first one's stay under budget. The next one is do my weekly check-ins to make sure that I'm doing the first goal, which was stay under budget. My goal each month is always to read one book. I've really been into nonfiction these days, so that's what I'm going to continue reading. And then my last goal is to budget for Christmas. Christmas is the time of year where we tend to overspend, especially my family, because we love to give, we love to celebrate. So we're just going to try to be smart about it and budget in advance. So that is our October budget. So follow me along this month as I fill in my expense tracker and do my weekly check-ins each week to make sure that we're not going over budget and that we have enough money to save for upcoming expenses, upcoming holidays, specifically Christmas. So in the comments below, tell me ways that you're budgeting for Christmas this year. Not only am I nosy, I really want to steal your ideas. Christmas is just that time of year where we overspend. And I think a lot of families tend to overspend the same time that we're not alone. But I think having a plan makes it a little bit easier. I hope you guys have a great October, and I will talk to you in my next video. Bye.